Dark Fortunes podcast is produced using safety tools at the table to ensure both safety and fun for all cast members. If you'd like to learn more and implement safety tools at your own table, visit bit.ly/TTRPG Safety Toolkit. That's bit.ly/TTRPG Safety Toolkit.
Arise, minions, and batten down the hatches as we leave behind the safety of the Humblewood to check in with the crew of Dark Fortunes.
Hello. I'm Rory, aka Final Gambit, and I will be playing Silence Furuiken, Level 3 Mapak Warlock.
Hi, I'm V Muse. I'm playing Sionnach MacTyre, Level 3 Vulpin Fighter.
Hi, I'm Mike, and I'm playing Mimir Elderbrand, Level 3 Corbin Bard.
Hi, I'm McLurkin. I'm playing Auryn Stormbringer, the Level 3 Servant Barbarian.
Hi, my name is Johnny. I'm the Dungeon Master. Welcome to the Dark Fortunes podcast.
This episode is brought to you by our friends over at Hero Forge. You have heard of Hero Forge, right? Well, then allow me to tell you about it. Hero Forge offers fully customizable tabletop miniatures with dozens of fantasy races and thousands of parts to choose from. They have an easy-to-use design tool that lets you build your perfect miniature using a fully 3D in-depth character creator right on your web browser. These minis are available in a variety of materials, including plastic and metal, as well as a downloadable file for use at home if you have your own 3D printer. The best part about Hero Forge is they are constantly expanding the catalog of customization options, adding new parts every week and major features like races and custom posing options. So head over to heroforge.com and start designing your custom miniature today. And be sure to tell them that Dark Fortunes sent you.
Previously on Dark Fortunes. It would seem that the dying captain of the capsized vessel had more fight in him than anyone expected. But with the water slowly rising and Auryn too big to assist, Silence, Sionnach, and Mimir knew when to pick their battles.
He failed, and Denavia was held. The brand grows bright at the top of the piece of iron that you're holding, and he's, again, frozen in position, unable to move. Rage just sort of building in his eyes, but otherwise incapable of doing anything else.
Mimir holds the brand again in that same kind of eyes locked on this guy, holding this iron rod out in front of his hand, and an eye darts to Sionnach, who's I assume to one of his sides, and he says, "Everyone attack now! While he's held." And he continues to hold this thing. And that is his whole action.
Well then.
Well, that's a mood.
Absolutely. Okay, so top of the initiative order, Silence. You on top of Auryn, as Auryn is sort of kind of crouched down, moving forward. Antlers sort of poking you just a little bit from the edges where your body is kind of leaning against them, but otherwise the two of you have moved pretty close into position, and now this Mapak is completely held in its state. What are you doing?
So it's an auto crit if I hit?
You have advantage on a melee attack. So you have advantage on all attacks. If you hit a melee attack and hit him, it's a crit.
Okay. Well, as a bonus action, Silence would like to cast Branding Smite, and then he's going to attack. So hopefully I hit, or Silence hits, because that would be super rad. Advantage, you say? Well, the first one was a 2, and the second one was a 16. Thanks, sweet Jesus. So 16 plus 5 is 21.
And that is a hit.
All right, so were we just doing max damage?
It's a crit because you're within 5 feet, I'm assuming.
Yes.
So it's your dice doubled.
Yep.
So so all of them, including your Branding Smite.
Yeah, so that's 46 plus 5. 28 slashing damage.
28 slashing damage plus 45 plus 5? Is that what I heard?
No, just 23 plus 5 is 28.
Okay, I'm sorry. I misunderstood you when you spoke. I thought I heard the word the number 45 at one point. Okay, so 28.
28 slashing, yes. So Silence will mutter a word, go away, as this purple comes across his blade. And it might be important that 12 of it is radiant, if that has any impact. And this fella, this scary Mapok, is also brightly lit in a 5-foot radius and can no longer go invisible if he ever tried to go invisible.
Well, so, Rory, he's a simple Mawpock. There's a lot going on for this guy, but he's a simple Mawpock. Do you really think that he could actually turn invisible?
No, just I mean, it was just a simple effect that happens. I was mostly going for the 2d6 radiant.
Talk to me about where you hit him on his body with this attack.
You know, center mass. I just want to go from one shoulder across to the waist.
All right. So as the cut just begins to kind of like crawl across his body, you slice through his studded leather armor that he has, like he's got a vest or something there, right? And it cuts through the clothes, and you see this, and you see the cut across his midsection as his belly begins to bleed. And so it's a nasty wound. You can't get a sense of how much the impact has on this guy, on this Mawpock, in part because he's held. Now, the only time that he gets to do the saving throw is the attacks don't actually affect that. Okay, I'm just confirming that right now. All right, so that blood begins to kind of pour, right? And for Auryn, who's under him, you can see that this just kind of like this attack happens, and it's just this sort of like weird sort of like sensation as Silence kind of moves on top of you, but almost feels natural at the same time. To which, did you want to do anything else? You took your bonus action and your action. You don't want to jump down, take any other type of movement of any kind.
No, I think Silence is pretty content on top of his senpai throne.
Gross. We're going to cut back to Mac, who is positioned next to Mimir. You have about 30 feet in front of you this situation sort of happening. Or sorry, actually probably 15 feet, because that's right, the Mawpock moved forward and then Auryn and Silence moved together. So you have about 15 feet to get to this particular guy. What are you doing here?
Looking over towards Mimir, especially since he's saying, everyone attack. He'll see the typical arched eyebrow and sardonic grin on her face as she moves forward, swinging both of her scimitars, and she's got them in this rotation, almost like a whirlwind thing going, and she'll go in for her attack. And, 2-weapon fighter, we're going to have some fun here. So yeah, I'm going to go in, and it's still the crit thing happening too?
Yes.
Yep.
So don't even roll for that, just the damage.
Well, you have to roll to hit.
Roll
if
to
you
hit.
hit,
Yeah, you said advantage to hit,
Okay.
and then you max damage or double damage.
All right, well, let's see what happens here. Okay, well then I have a 16 to hit.
1 second. Yes, that's definitely going to hit.
And a 14.
Both hit.
Oh.
Or, no, sorry. Only one hits. The other one does not.
Only one hits. Okay, so so then the one hits, and then that's going to be double my dice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then that is going to be 14 slashing with the one.
All right. Coming in, one slice kind of cuts across him. The other does not. Where is that blade sort of coming in that cuts him?
She's going for arteries. So
Wow.
she's going to go wherever it's going to lead to fastest bleed out. So most likely, considering, this guy's pretty hefty in size, right?
Oh, yeah. He's 6 feet tall and bulky as hell.
Okay, so she's going to do like an upswing with the one scimitar and go for jugular.
All All right. As the blade sort of cuts across his chest, it joins like a part where Silence has cut the sort of the belly and continues to slice through, and you just barely miss the artery itself. But you do nick him so bad, like it cuts across him so bad, you can see through the place on his body where the sort of like the musculature of the like under the form is like sort of beginning to kind of like flay open just a little bit, and you can see the flesh and the sort of the tissue of the muscle there as the it doesn't burst with a lot of blood, but when it does bleed, it's a pretty nasty sort of cut. Like this, it's clear that he's hurting pretty bad now.
Okay, so then I'm going to use my action surge.
Oh, okay. Please do.
And swing again. Now that's technically both of them again, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, because it's
Correct.
phrased as action.
Yep.
So let's see what happens here. Okay, I have a 23, and then another 15.
Both hit.
Both hit. Okay.
Both hit.
So then that is going to be first scimitar is taking. What is it with rolling 8s, even though the numbers are different? So that's 12 slashing. And then we have 9 slashing.
All right. So where are these attacks going? Is it for the same sort of like area? Are you aiming for it's like you come out and you start slashing with the rapiers. The first time through, the first attack lands, the second one doesn't. The second time through, both attacks land. Are you going back for the jugulars?
She'd play it out where she's taking the one scimitar, the one holds true and hits the jugular area, which she's happy to see. She has that mark. She uses the second one almost as a feign motion to make it look like she's about to strike, but goes wide on purpose. Crossing her arms in front of herself, she'd swing back out with both scimitars and aim for wrists, trying to hit tendons to disable the claws.
Blades cutting through, tendons on the, tendons and muscle on the arms. You can see that even though, like, he's held in this sort of situation, like the bleeding and weight of the weapons are beginning to sag in his arms. You can see that the structure of the way that his muscles are working has changed significantly as they lose some of their strength in it. It's clear that he is really badly hurt at this point. And he is bleeding profusely all over the place. Like you can see that the blood is beginning to sort of seep into the water, that's like at the floor around you. But otherwise, yeah, it's bad.
Okay, then that's everything for her.
Wow, that's a hell of a move. At which point he's going to roll his saving throw. What was the DC?
13.
Okay. At this point, being held again, at this point, making his saving throw, he drops to his knees in pain as the blood is just beginning to kind of dance all over him. And just kind of like the weight of everything just kind of like carries him down to his knees for a moment. He can't make a move. That was his action, taking the saving throw. Auryn, you see this sort of Mawpock just on his knees, blades in hand, rage still building in him, but unable to immediately take an action because of his freedom. Mac has stepped up, eviscerated this guy. Silence has cut in and just like started the initial sort of devastation on him. Tell me what you're doing here.
So he's full of rage, right? Equivalent to I am.
It looks like he's enraged, but no, it's something different.
Yeah, but like to Auryn, he probably sees it as like that. He feels like it's something similar as he sees that rage billowing in his eyes, and he knows that it won't stop even until he's dead.
Right.
So I am going to. I'm in combat with him now, or he moved up on me, or what's going on?
You guys are both in range at this point.
Okay. So as I begin to do my attack, does anything happen?
Well, describe to me your attack first.
Okay. So my attack, I go, why won't you move? And I drop the axe in front of me and then spin around to attack him. Now, the question is, before I do that, where is everyone in conjunction to me?
Mac is really close to you.
Okay.
You're essentially kneeling down with Silence on your shoulders, and you're in difficult terrain, so the axe... you're gonna roll this at disadvantage, given the fact that you're trying to make an attack in this particular situation. This isn't just a situation where like it's a -2. If you're trying to swing your axe all the way around and do this, it's a complicated situation to do this particular action in this particular setting.
Okay, yeah. If Mac is by me, then I won't do that. He'd be conscious enough to, even in a rage, know who his allies are. It's not like it's a blind rage. So then, if that's the point, what he's going to do is just have the axe like this, and then use his force to like bring it down. Is equivalent as if he ran up and swung it, but using his strength to really throw behind it. Then. Okay,
so you're raising the axe above your head, right? And you've got Silence right here.
Well, yeah. kind of what he's doing is like this, like a short attack, right? Not fully up, but like doing it like if he was doing it like a full attack, but trying to put more momentum into it, like Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch, right? So it's all about like the movement. Like he's using small movements to try to get the equivalent of being able to do like a huge running slash. And using his attack. And I don't know if that's disadvantage or the -2, whichever.
That's gonna be the -2.
Okay.
All right. So before you make the roll, the axe begins to move, and you feel it. You feel all of your rage sort of building. You feel the weight of Silence on top of you, like as I'm assuming Silence's legs are basically kind of like his knee is just like sort of bending and then kind of like coming under your armpit as like you know, to kind of like hold himself in a steady position. And so you feel your body's movement, right? But everything begins to slow down. And at some point, as you're noticing this, you're becoming acutely aware of the environment becoming all that much brighter. And as the axe comes to its fullest sort of, you know, way back in how you're prepping your attack, you feel yourself stop. And then you hear a soft voice. What are you doing, my child? And then you find yourself experiencing the scene outside of your own body. And you're standing there behind the Mawpock, sort of taking in the entire scene. You see the rage building on your face as it sort of just is crystallized in this moment, this frozen frame. You see sort of the look of both excitement and, you know, restraint on Silence's face. You see Mac's sort of determination in this situation, and you see Mimir standing in the back holding the brand. You take in the scene completely, and the voice says, well, my child. And as you turn and look, there's a bright figure sort of shining next to you, and as the light sort of dims, you find yourself looking at a very large Strick, your height, meeting you in your gaze directly.
I'm fighting.
Who are you protecting, my child?
Those three from that one.
What did this person do to you? What did this Mawpock do to you?
He attacked my friends.
He has rage.
That may be true, but he is also a creature in pain. Can you not see his pain?
Yes.
Can you not see that he wished to be alone and be left for dead?
I do not know, as I've only seen him for mere seconds at this point.
And you wish to give him his end?
Yes.
Why?
Well, if he does suffer, he doesn't need to go through that pain. He can meet his end in battle.
His suffering may not end in battle. Has that thought ever occurred to you, Auryn?
No.
You who have suffered so much at the hands of others, did your suffering end when battle was done?
Well, I survived after the battle.
But is survival the end of suffering?
No. There's release in death.
And you wish to release him from his suffering?
Looking at his pain, that's how I feel now.
Do you know who I am, Auryn?
Are you Altus?
After a fashion, yes.
Are you not Altus?
I am the voice of that through whom you speak to. I come to you on their behalf.
Then I am listening.
I wanted to understand so that I may explain when the gifts that are bestowed upon you are used. Auryn, you have your own questions too. This moment is your chance to speak to Altus directly.
Many seasons ago, many springs, winters, falls, when the gnolls attacked, I felt a voice that screamed vengeance, and I felt a storm inside of me. Was that you?
A seed was planted. It has been nurtured. It is up to you where it grows now, though.
I want vengeance for what happened, and I want to prevent that from happening to others.
Noble is the desire to protect others. But careful you must be with the gifts that you have been bestowed. They are given to you because you suffered, but honored the ways of your people. You choose to protect. You choose to fight. But do not use those gifts to punish. Otherwise, you will face Altus himself and face his judgment.
I think I understand.
You will remember all of this, and you can retell this as you wish, though I don't think everyone will believe you, and I'm sorry, that is a burden.
Their belief in what I know is not my concern. I want to protect my new clan, and I want to follow the path Altus puts before me. I promise I will not kill anyone without, I guess, a reason or in cold blood. But I will always try to prove myself in combat for Altus.
Altus recognizes that. That's why, child, you have been given these gifts. But you must remember, your clan now is not as your clan before. And your clan before is not done. There are others still out there for whom you must protect.
Are people still alive?
A few. A few are still breathing. One who shares the blood of your father and the breath of your mother.
Where do I look?
That is the journey that you must take. Altus bestows you the gifts, but you must find your way home.
Is that okay?
You look frustrated, child. Take this moment. Ask me the questions that you must. I'm not sure we'll ever get this opportunity to speak again.
I know my mother and father met their end, but Emily was taken like I was. I don't know what happened to Valora Otis. Who's in danger?
I am only allowed to tell you as much as I was given. And what I was given was that there is one who shares your blood, who is still breathing. I only know that, but that she will know the answers to the others, and I'm sorry. And for the first time, the Strig's sort of like regal, sort of like ethereal visage, the facade of the face breaks for just a second, and you see a moment of compassion. I am sorry. Altus is wise in their ways, and I'm sorry. I can't give you all of this. I hope you find her.
I will be guided by the winds and bring the storm, for that's my job now.
All the might of the storm is yours. Use it wisely.
I will. And I only have one last question.
Go ahead.
Currently he's like out of his body, right? And like they're standing next to the scene.
Time is frozen.
Okay. So Auryn would walk over to where he's like viewing himself, and seeing his rage and then silence with that excitement and restraint on his face. And he points to him, and he points to in at his eye, and he's like, "There's a little man named Din that sleeps inside of his head. He's somewhere there. I've spoken to him. I don't understand his capacity with inside of him, or what bestowments they give him, but who is Din?"
We all know that the worst part about playing a spellcaster in your favorite 5th edition fantasy RPG is having to write down all of the intricate details of every spell in your notebook, or flipping to the back of the book every time you forget what a spell does. But what if I told you there was a better way? Lucky for you, there is. Our friends over at Hitpoint Press are launching their new Kickstarter for the Deck of Many animated spells. This new Kickstarter will include waterproof, artistic renderings of spells levels 6 through 9, as well as a fully animated tarot deck for all your soothsaying needs. Not to mention, animated condition cards if we hit our stretch goals. So if you want to enhance your level of play at the table, head on over to rebrand.ly/DFP spells and pledge for your very own deck of animated spells. That's rebrand.ly/DFP spells, and be sure to tell them Dark Fortunes Podcast sent you. And as always, happy gaming.
Are you sure you want to know? This may change your perception of your friend.
For him and Din are two separate people. Din may be inside of him, but silence is honorable.
Then step back, child, and I will show you.
I step back and look to wherever they're showing to.
The string moves forward, moving through the Mawpock and, sort of the various cargo. The ethereal body is just sort of passing through. And it looks over to you and says, "Your answer is thus," and raises its wing, its winged hand, and just kind of waves as the feathers just sort of obscure the image of your body with Silence's body on top of it, kind of seated on, so the form of the two of you. And as the hand sort of the winged hand sort of raises up, you see something else. You see not a complete form, but you see a form on the back of Silence. So now it looks like there's 3 people stacked on it. You don't see a lower half. You see the arms just sort of on the shoulders, and the head just sort of creeping around the left-hand side of Silence's head. The form does not give you any type of sort of shape of like a defined person, more of just the general shape of a humanoid level of form. Like there's no like defining features.
Sort of like a shadow person.
Very much so.
Is there any like sort of not so much a facial structure, but like eyes or a mouth where you can kind of read any sort of expression?
No. because whatever you see there is what your imagination tries to put onto it, and there's not really that form there.
Mm-hmm.
And the Strigg looks at you and says, "You cannot place your perceptions on this creature. It is not from our reality. It is an interloper. Its presence here troubles Altus. We don't quite know what to make of it. We are all-powerful, but we are not necessarily all-knowing. I did not wish to trouble you about this, Auryn. But with this knowledge, I bestow upon you the burden. If Altus calls, you will vanquish this creature that lives outside of its own reality."
I don't understand if when I spoke to Din when he took over Silence, I spoke about ending Silence to end him, it, her, they. I don't know, but it referred that it would just go somewhere else and not be affected in the death of Silence, but somewhere else in the world, if I remember correctly. I don't know, but if I were to go after Din, I need a way to go do that.
The death of your friend would not be the death of that creature, that entity. The death of that entity might be the death of that creature. Not all endings are death.
So there's a way to save him.
The Strigg looks towards Mimir and says, "That one may be able to help you, though even Altus doesn't trust his motives."
Yes, he speaks in double terms and talks fast.
Well, you must make your choice of how and who you trust. Altus believes in you as much as you believe in Altus.
Yes. I swore Silence that if that being took over and there was no recovering of him, I would end him, but at the same time, I don't feel that would solve that problem.
Trust your wisdom. Trust your gut. Trust those who you wish to call your clan. But never forget your gift. Never forget your calling. And never forget from where you came.
And yeah, Auryn, at that point, like, as he stutters a little bit, he's like, he nods and he looks kind of like lost in thought.
I'm sorry, Auryn. Our time is done. You must return.
I will bring the storm.
And remember that after the storm, comes the calm. Bring peace to.
Yes.
And with that, I wish you good fortune. And the strig slowly begins to fade. And as the strig begins to fade, you find yourself back in your body as the brightness begins to resume a sort of a dimming until light becomes normal. And you feel the rage of your attack beginning to swing down at the Mawpock. Please roll your attack.
Okay. So as I attack, something happens. Now, I got a 17.
Yes, that hits unless you want to roll again because you do get advantage on this guy.
Oh, okay. No. That'd be a 6. So I'll stick with the other one. Now, there's two things that are going to happen. As time comes forward and I get shot into place, I'm thinking about how I want to describe this. So two things. One thing that happens, they need to make a dexterity saving throw, and the DC is going to be 14.
Okay, what's the dexterity saving throw for?
So as I attack him, what is going on is there is all of a sudden it smells like the ozone, right? And it smells like a big storm. All of a sudden, who's ever within 10 feet of Auryn, you get that smell of that feeling in the air, that charge, right? Like there's like a electricity in the air. And Silence, you would notice that like all of a sudden, as the attack is coming down, you're seeing like lightning kind of billow out and like kind of spark from his eyes a little bit and like charge up on his axe and lighting up his axe as it looks like as it's coming down with the attack. Like out of nowhere, like a bolt of lightning is forming and striking with the attack on the individual. And that is what the dexterity saving throw is that now creature I can see within 10 feet of me, I can summon a lightning bolt to attack them. And they have to make a dexterity saving throw. They take half damage on... so I'll keep the roll separate just in case. So I'll give you the normal slashing damage and then the lightning damage. And then so we can do that.
Okay, even if they commit the saving throw, it's still going to be full half damage. You can remember because things crit here. So how much damage does the axe swing, the slash do?
So it's a crit.
Yeah, if it lands, which it did,
yeah,
it's a crit. So it's going to be double damage.
Okay, so double damage would be roll the dice and times that by 2, right?
No, it's the max double damage.
Oh, max double damage. So that would be let me look at my character sheet because I forgot. Okay, 29 for the axe.
Okay.
And then, because I'm not doubling the strength, so it's 29. And then the attack is 6 for lightning. So it'll be 35 damage in total in one attack.
All right. So describe where the attack is going to land on this Mawpock.
He knelt in front of me, right?
Yeah, when Mimir's whole person basically was like when he successfully was able to make a saving throw against the whole person, he literally dropped to his knees in pain, and you could see that all the cuts between Silence and Max, like blade attacks, all really, their toll really came about at that point, and you could see that like his entire form was sagging, and he was in so much like exhausted pain that he dropped to his knees.
Okay. I am gonna aim at his neck to try to behead him. If I'm killing him.
You are killing him, and you are going to behead him.
Mm-hmm. And as I do that, like you see the lightning come, and he's like, Silent would probably hear this, and probably everyone would hear this, but like as he brings it down, he's like, suffering ends, and he brings the axe down across his neck, with the lightning also adding to that damage as well.
So as the blade kind of slices through, you decapitate him. The rage, the energy sort of comes through, and it just carries his head from his body, and it goes with the momentum of the blade attack and just slams against the far side of the hole and drops. And his form just sort of hangs there for just a second and then begins to list to the side and then just kind of collapse as blood begins to flow from his neck. And he falls dead. And with that, the ship creaks a little bit more, as if the strain of something is pushing against sort of the hull itself. Mim, it's now your turn. We're not out of initiative yet.
How far away am I from this body?
You are about 15 feet away from this body.
And he's very dead, right? I assume without a head.
Oh, there's no doubt that he's dead at this point.
Mim, like, immediately, like, you see him, like, sort of go back to normal, and whatever strain was on him holding this in place, and, like, he quickly pockets the iron rod, and then in, like, the same motion, almost unlike anything we've seen of Mim recently, he bounds forward. And he's like moving around boxes, and like with Auryn's size and the way that he is, he probably like slides under Auryn's legs, and he just says, "Get away from it! Get away from it!" And as I'm doing that, I'm casting what's that?
Detect magic?
That's the one. Detect magic as I'm flipping this guy over to find whatever that magic bauble was on him.
All right. So as you're kind of moving forward and you cast Detect Magic, as you step up to the form, you see that the magic is beginning to fade on him. Like the presence, whatever it was, the presence of it was beginning to fade. And as you're kind of digging through, kind of looking through his garments, you find an interesting medallion that sort of like, as you pull out, the lettering on it is mostly in a very cryptic sort of weird sort of representation that you have only seen one place before, and that's on the box. But at the center of this is a large glyph that you do recognize, and the letter represents the letter M.
Interesting.
But as you're kind of watching this, like you're watching the magic sort of fade from this, the entire hole makes a really obnoxiously creaking sound. As you look up, you begin to see a little bit of daylight sort of streaming in as the keel has started to significantly crack. And the ship shifts a little bit like this as it's beginning to kind of buckle, and water is beginning to kind of rush up through the hole.
I don't think Mim even notices, because shiny baubles that are magical are his thing. But I do kind of like, I see the scene where like the camera is like over Mim's shoulder and he's holding the medallion and it kind of like rotates
in like this that spinny kind of motion, and like it's Mim looking at it, and on the opposite side of the medallion is Silence perched in the horns of Auryn, and as it spins, Mimir just says, "Maru." And then the boat's and it makes that noise. I think we need to leave now.
Then we go.
He throws it on and starts to walk towards.
Yeah, Mac will already be sort of at the opening and like already like working her way out so that she can help the others pull through the literal hole.
Okay. So we're going to leave initiative at this particular point, because as the four of you make your way and kind of move back towards, you find yourself sort of crawling out, and you can see that the keel has the crack in the keel that you had seen before was really beginning to sort of shatter. And as the last of you kind of pulls up on the boat itself, you feel yourself sort of drop as the four of you are suddenly in the water, as the boat itself really begins to take on all that water, and for unimaginably quick. And Mac, you've seen ships sink before. There is something really off about this, but it just like it breaks in two and just slides into the water and just begins to kind of float. And you slowly see a couple of pieces of cargo kind of like dancing up. And if the four of you kind of look down, you can see that the ship is just sinking unimaginably fast. Like there's something really off about this, but you watch it sort of, fall into the distance, below you and go to the depths, and then it disappears.
In the boat, I assume like the water's like tumultuous and stuff, right? After like this.
Right. There's like a lot of like, like white, sort of like bubbly kind of like things going on.
I think once things like settle down and we begin rowing back to the ship, Mimir like leans over to Sionnach in a way that he's trying to make it so only she can hear. And he just whispers to her, "Whatever magical force kept him alive kept her ship afloat."
That's not at all disturbing, is it?
It's whatever that Maru creature was.
Then we need to find out more about Maru.
And then he like leans on the side of the boat, not doing any work.
So moments out of this, out of the combat situation, out of it, I'm gonna drop a little bit of knowledge for Mac. The name Maru is often whispered as a curse around the larger sort of Gulf of Peluche. It's not a name that you've heard significantly in sort of Razorbeak Bay, the large bay that we're currently in, but in the larger sort of Gulf setting, you have heard the occasional sort of rumbling or curse about Maru. None of it has ever been sort of like tangible in any way, shape, or form that you have ever come across in your sailings across the Gulf.
Okay. She would sort of lean back and, again, keeping it in subtle tones. So it's between her and Mimsy.
The only time I've ever heard that name is when someone is cursing something or other. It's not a good connotation.
All curses have an origin.
They do, don't they?
So, this Maru is a curse. It is a cursed person, an entity, or something that means ill will. And we need to find out who or what it is. And then he kind of like cocks his head to the side and like nods at Silence.
Silence, seeing this, will kind of like try and look away, just like, I'm done using Din as some kind of divining rod or this way to a pendulum of information. Just like, no, like Silence will look away and kind of shake his head, just like a, no.
As Auryn's like rowing, he as he like hears that conversation, he just rows and he's like, Altus does not agree with Din. and just keeps rowing.
Well, Altus, whoever that is very wise.
They don't know what Din is.
I don't know what Din is.
I spoke to the voice of Altus. Altus is the deity of storms and war, and
I'm sorry, you spoke to him?
I spoke to the voice of Altus. During that fight,
Mim just like cocks a head towards Sionnach, and his eyes go wide. Okay.
Time froze, and I spoke to the voice of Altus, and they bestowed me the power of a storm, a raging storm.
I think he drank seawater.
I mean, stranger things have been known to happen. You didn't stick your hands in any odd boxes, did you?
No, it was before I decapitated him. Time froze. I was viewing the fight from out of my body, but I asked about Din, and they showed me Din. I saw Din, or what Din looks like in this. They talked about a dimension, that it's not from this dimension. I don't know what a dimension is, so I was very confused when they were talking about it. But it had no face. It looked like a shadow that was attached to the back of Silence.
Dimension usually means another world. A place of a different location.
So another island.
Yes, but think of it sort of, sort of in the same existence, but not in the same place, physically.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, you know rainbows.
Yes.
Think of it like the layers of a rainbow. They all form the same arch, but they're all different colors.
Okay.
Those are like dimensions. All taking up about the same space, the same arch, but different.
So every different color is a dimension.
That's probably the safest way to look at it for you.
There's a lot of dimensions around us right now.
Yes.
The boat is a brown dimension.
Not actual colors of physical objects here. No, it's not.
Oh.
It's not assigning roles per color. It's more.
Oh.
You don't know what metaphors are, do you? That's a no. Okay, that's a no.
Milo said that word once, and I stopped paying attention.
Then what I'll do is I'll explain it to Milo, and Milo can explain it to you.
Okay. Okay.
You what, dear?
One thing that came up is that Altus may call on me, since I had the revelation of Din to me, that I will have to kill Din. But killing Silence is not the answer.
I agree, Senpai.
Yes, but killing Din may kill Silence. Unless...
We're gonna hold to the same rules, though, okay, Auryn? No killing until you're given the all clear.
Yes, I understand. But the one thing that they mentioned to me is that Mimir, they may have the knowledge or be able to find the knowledge to find a way to kill Din and save Silence. But they don't like how you talk because you lie a lot.
Well, your god's not completely wrong there. And she kind of just gives a smirk over to Mimir.
Hi. We all heard that, right?
that you are the one who can help, but also are very good at mincing your words around in different...
That the God of Storms allegedly has a grudge against me. Writing
Yes.
that down in a book immediately. Who
yes,
can say
you're going
that?
to take... You're taking that part with you, aren't you?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a huge honor.
Thank you. That's what I think.
It's a huge honor that they've noticed us.
Oh,
It is better to be
whatever.
under the scrutiny and ire of a god than not to be known at all. Now, Senpai,
Sure.
you said you were had this vision and time froze before you killed the Mapak, before you beheaded it. Do you think if we behead more people, you'll have more revelations?
It was said that this conversation may never happen again. This might be the end of it. It was at that moment, the Mapak in front of us, it did not attack me, and they brought that to my attention. And I was protecting my clan. And it also, when I was able to be outside of my body with a clear mind, not in rage, I was shown that it was a individual suffering. And the suffering was... they were wanting to die. And I told the voice of Altus that I was bringing the death onto it to prevent it, or to stop its suffering, showing mercy.
It's very wise, Senpai. Suffering leads to hate, and hate to anger, and anger to fear. It would have been a terrible life for him to live.
I agree, and I am glad we were the ones who were able to end its suffering, but I cannot use my abilities to punish, as far as I understand. So within our clan, I will protect you and vow to protect all of you as much as I can.
That is very much the way of the stripe, Senpai. You understand my people a little bit more now.
That is good. Maybe they also know who Altus is.
I think so. I've heard people speak of them, but that's more of a god outside of my people's faith.
But I have to say that with Din, we can't trust Din. Din is even unknown to the beings above us. And that is very, very terrifying.
I agree. Is it, since we're rowing to the Fool's Errand, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Can I make a quick perception check to see if that large mass underwater is around?
How do you want to go about doing that?
I mean, I'll get on top of Auryn's head and perch near to his antlers to try and get a vantage point within the rowboat to try and see if it's just below us or anywhere near us. I don't need a large sense, but just nearby.
Sure.
12.
You begin to kind of take in the setting around you. Having been in the water previously, you got a really strange sort of sense that it was very empty around you, that all life had sort of like, stepped away from this area. You also remember the report of what Auryn saw under the water on top of what you saw as you were kind of paying attention to the area around you. The first thing is you get no sense of that anywhere in the water. The second thing that you begin to notice is that there are schools of fish under you now. Something you did not see before at all. So you are seeing like life kind of returning to the area.
Silence will be eased by that, and will say, well, whatever great disturbance had befallen this shipwreck and scared away the life doesn't seem to be around anymore. So everything is fine, now and forever.
To which you hear a voice inside of your head that says,
Your sense of security is amusing. Go on, please.
and that's where we'll end it.
Dark Fortunes is an unMadeGaming production and a proud member of the Don't Split the Podcast network. If you would like to learn more about the world of Dark Fortunes and get some behind-the-scenes looks, please join us on Patreon at patreon.com/unMadeGaming. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please take a minute to give us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. Thank you for joining us on this high seas adventure, and we'll see you next time on Dark Fortunes. Imagine that you're sitting down to play your favorite 5th edition fantasy RPG, and you think to yourself, man, I really wish there were just more. More monsters, more magic items, more subclasses, more spells, more of everything. Well, look no further than Kobold Press. Kobold Press is my first stop when I'm looking to add a little spice to my 5e games. The Kobold Press store offers a full line of 5th edition titles from the Tome of Beasts to the Guide to Game Design, plus hundreds of adventures, map packs, and so much more. And as always, these 5e titles are available in both print and PDF, or in a few money-saving bundles. Not to mention virtual tabletop editions for both Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds. And orders typically ship within 24 hours while supplies last. You can find out more at koboldpress.com. And while you're at it, let them know that Dark Fortunes and the Don't Split the Podcast network sent you. Happy gaming.